gonna read more.
Yeah.
My name is Emily Aldridge, and I will be giving a speech on racial microaggressions. You speak good English. What are you? Can I touch your hair? Are very well-known sentences to Black, Indigenous, and people of color in the United States. Microaggressions are not easily spotted by many. However, according to an article published by the New York Times, for some, they are part of their daily lives. Once educated, those who were unaware will likely begin to see racial bias in schools, churches, politics, news headlines, in sports, Hollywood, friends, and in oneself. The definition of microaggression and racism, according to Merriam-Webster Dictionary, are as follows. Microaggression, a comment or action that subtly or unconsciously and unintentionally expresses a prejudiced attitude toward a member of a marginalized group. Racism, a belief that race is the primary determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. Microaggressions and racism are interlaced due to microaggressions pointing out the roots of the prejudiced act or comment. Racism can be more easily revealed when microaggressions are further broken down. Micro-insults, micro-invalidations, and micro-assaults are all different classifications of microaggressions according to Psychology Today. Micro-insults are communications that unintentionally demean another person's racial identity. Some examples of micro-insults include when people ask where someone is from, when people appropriate from different cultures, such as performing the tomahawk chop, braiding cornrows, using slang terminology that doesn't come from one's own culture, like the bomb, bay, twerk, or yas, etc. When people say to someone, you don't act like a normal Black person, or when people referring to SARS-CoV-2 instead call it the Chinese virus. Micro-invalidations are communications that exclude or negate the thoughts, feelings, or experiences of people of color. Specific examples include when people say to someone that they are colorblind or they don't see the color of the skin. When people deny that they could possibly be racist because I have Black friends. When people say that the human race is the only race, or they respond to someone with, don't be so sensitive. Microassaults are discriminatory name-calling, as in the use of racial epithets. This is the only intentional form of microaggressions. Let's look at the definition of epithet to help us grasp microassaults. According to the Merriam-Webster Dictionary, epithets are characterizing words or phrases accompanying or occurring in places of the name of a person or thing. Another way the dictionary defined it is an offensive word or name that is used as a way of abusing or insulting someone. Examples of epithets include terms like monkey, camel jockey, ching chong, jig, and I'm sure we can all believe that the list goes on. Daniel Wing-Sue in the article Racial Microaggressions in Everyday Life leads us through the logic that micro-insults and micro-invalidations are much more difficult to recognize because they aren't as obvious to the one acting out of prejudice. In certain cases, the person of color also does not recognize that the act is as an expression of the superiority and inferiority mindset due to their races. You may have noticed that some cases of microaggressions seem to be well meant, such as the question, where are you from? I would ask that you consider many people do not ask white or light-skinned people the same question as often, which is interesting. Evan August from Scholars Strategy Network puts it like this. As described by psychological research, microaggressions are implicit, often unconscious insults directed at people from historically disadvantaged groups. While the term is now used to describe derogatory speech directed at people from various backgrounds, it was first used to describe the subtle, everyday forms of bigotry racial minority group members experience all too frequently in the United States. Dismantling types of microaggressions through education increases awareness for those who may not be informed and helps society uncover underlying racism. I hope we can all learn from this topic and be courageous enough to identify racial microaggressions when they are present. Thank you.